We're going to start off with West Ham. I don't know if you know this news. Maybe if you lot out there are just getting in your car, you turn on the radio for the first time. You may not know the West Ham boss, David Moyes, has been speaking today ahead of his side's match at home to Brentford on Monday. It's live and exclusive on talkSPORT, by the way, at 8 p.m. He revealed the latest on his future at the London Stadium.
I've had really good conversations with the owners, with David and Karen Brady. And look, there's a contract there for me. I'm the one who's at the moment deciding that I want to wait. I want to wait to the end of the season. I want to make sure that everything's correct and that first and foremost that we concentrate in this season, do the job. I've really enjoyed my 4 years here, and one way or the other I'll make sure I see my contract out.
Okay, let me ask you first, Ben. When you look back at David Moyes' time at West Ham, has it been a success? It has to be, right? It's got to be.
Without doubt. I think...
Oh, hold on. There you go.
Yeah, I think so, without doubt. I reckon I listen to your guys, I listen to talkSPORT a lot, and you hear a lot of West Ham fans always ringing in and they're not happy. They're not happy with the style of play. They're not happy with where they are. And then I kind of just I want them to get a bit of a reality check, really. They've just won a European competition at the end of last season. If you look at the teams that are above them in the league, realistically, where are you going to be? Do you know what I mean? Where are you going to be? You're talking, some of the teams above them are real proper big clubs, really big clubs. And then you've got the likes of your Brightons and Aston Villa. I'm not belittling them. They're not in the same league as the Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool's, Tottenham's. But I don't know where you expect to be then. So I think for their league position, which is, I think, 9th, is it? Mm-hmm. I think that's about right for them.
Do you know what? I think West Ham fans, I don't think they're too much bothered about the position. Yeah. I think it all comes back to the style of play. Mm-hmm. If I'm David Moyes at the end of the season, I'm leaving. Yeah. Because I'm thinking there's an element to get stuffed a little bit, because I get it, his football might not be great, but as you said there, won a European trophy. They finished 6th before, they finished 7th before. They tailed off a little bit last season, but they won the Europa. They're now in the top 10 again this season. I don't know what more he could do. Yeah,
if you look at it from his perspective, I would feel like that as well. It's almost like you're not wanted there. I reckon he would feel like he's done a really good job at West Ham. Like I say, winning a European competition. Do you know there was 2 teams that won a cup last year? 2 British teams that won a trophy. Man City and West Ham.
You know what's nuts as well? He's taken West Ham into Europe 3 seasons on the bounce. I mean, that is incredible, isn't it?
Incredible.
For any manager at any club.
Yeah.
But for West Ham even more so. That's an unbelievable. What would you do if you were him?
Yeah, I think if they can get a top half finish secured this season, I would genuinely be considering walking away. Everybody's a winner then. Do you know what I mean? He can look himself in the mirror and say, I've done a fantastic job here. West Ham fans will wish him all the best going forward. But again, it's a lot. You got to think about the person and his life, and he might be really happy and really settled. He might be having a lovely time. He might enjoy going into work every single day. So you can't blame him for wanting to do it for a bit longer either, could you?
And for what he's done at West Ham, if he does leave at the end of the season, where does he go next? What level of club can he be looking at?
Well, that's the thing. Where's there going to be a job available for him? And you start going, well, I mean, Palace have got their guy, so that's one gone. But
let me throw out to both of you then, right? Benny, I'll stay with you. Newcastle, if Eddie Howe went somewhere... No, too big?
No.
Yeah, too big, I think, yeah.
No, not even so much too big, which I do agree with. But Newcastle fans won't want to watch that style of football.
No, well, the Newcastle... a lot of people say about Eddie Howe, and he's not the long-term answer for Newcastle, which I think is a little bit demeaning. I think he's a fantastic manager, but I think everybody knows that within the next 5-10 years, Newcastle probably would have a big bad boy as a manager. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? A real big name.
What about if Thomas Frank left Brentford? Could he go there?
Yeah,
possibly
there.
could.
That kind of club.
Yeah, he possibly could. Brentford pride themselves on playing football, real football, out from the back. This sort of lovely passing, pressing, and I don't know whether that would suit their style of play. And David Moyes has tried abroad, hasn't he? Went to Spain. Sociedad didn't work out from out there, so I think he would be worried about going out doing something like that again. But yeah, it's Premier League's I bet it's a tough old gig to get a job.
Do you know what, quickly, Andy? It's one of those where he might be suffering, David Moyes, from the style of play, because all these now managers of these clubs and owners want that progressive football, don't they? Playing out from the back, all that good stuff. He doesn't want to do that. So where the clubs might look at him and go, he's a fantastic manager. Does he fit our style of play? Probably not.
Maybe a newly promoted team.
Maybe
a newly promoted team looking to secure
Ipswich?
That consolidate that.
Kieran McKenna goes?
No. Come on.
What, too big? You're saying Ipswich too big for David Moyes? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that.
Well, you are. You know we've got cameras. We can even see. We are taking calls on all things West Ham. David Moyes is going to be offered a new deal, or has been offered a new deal. He's going to make his mind up at the end of the season. 03717223344. Dial that. You can speak to Darren Bent and Ben Foster, which is exactly what Phil is going to do. Hello, Phil.
Hello, guys. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
How you doing, Phil? You right, mate?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I'm really grateful for David Moyes and for what he's done for the last 4 years. We went big with Pellegrini. It failed. We've had other managers that have failed along the way, and he's come back in and he's done a fantastic job. But unfortunately, it's time to go because we haven't got a plan B. And when I say we haven't got a plan B, as soon as we've lost Paqueta through injury, which isn't Moyes' fault, we have no other options. We don't do anything. Mohamed Kudus, before he went to the African Nations Cup, was like a well beater. Now he looks like an egg beater. He looks awful, and they don't go over the halfway line. They're very static. We're playing Bowen up front, and I know that buying players is not necessarily down to him, but there seems to be a bit of a clash between him and Tim behind the scenes about what players they want. And I just think we need someone who's got some fresh ideas, who, if plan A doesn't work, has got a plan B. And he hasn't got a plan B. And he's making too many of the players now look ordinary.
So Phil, Phil, do you want another manager to come in then and play better football? Is what you're saying with the players like Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen?
Yeah.
I mean, these are ball players. You want someone to come in and not be so negative.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think, was it yourself, I think, Ben, you said it just now. Well, not necessarily about position, but it's about going for it and having a bit of, you know, I've grown up watching players with the excitement, like a lot of teams have. But we haven't got that at the moment. We don't see any 4-4s or 4-3s. You know, a few weeks ago, or a few months ago, we played Forest. It was a 3-2. It was an exciting game. But we nearly threw that away because of his ineptitude on the sidelines. And you've got these players, make the use of them. Why are you playing Jared Bowen down the middle? Danny Ings has scored goals wherever he's been. Burnley, Liverpool. He was unlucky at Liverpool with his bad injury. He's always scored goals. Why did he come to us and now he don't look like he could hit a barn door with a banjo?
Okay.
I think Danny Ings comes down to rhythm. He's just not getting in the game. If you give him 5-6 games in a row,
a run. That's all he needs, a run.
Yeah.
Ben, fans have got to be careful what they wish for, right? You look at Spurs at the moment, okay, and they were all for this Ange Ball, high line, exciting football, irrelevant score. I remember we took calls from Spurs fans after they got beat against Chelsea 4-1. I know they had a couple of players sent off, but still, a lot of them walked out of that ground with smiles on their faces, even though they'd lost, because it was a different brand of football. I just wonder, from Spurs' perspective, the fans, where all of a sudden the fun stops and it does start becoming about the results.
I think, like the caller just said there, then though, West Ham haven't got a plan B. I don't think as many teams do have plan Bs, in all fairness. Most teams work on, they will play a certain style of football, and if it doesn't get results, then that's when you have to really start talking about changing players. But you won't necessarily just go and change the system. Most teams will play a set formation, and Chelsea, perfect example of it lately, hasn't been working for them. We need to go to a back three. They've been playing Thiago Silva here, there, and then all the callers calling in saying we need to play a different formation because this isn't working. That's tough to do, though, you know, to implement that into a new team when you haven't got too much training time to be able to do that. That's asking for trouble when people just want results. People just want results. And again, you know, you look at Tottenham and it's great getting these 4-3s and these 4-0s, and there'll be a load of fans that won't go, we just want 1-0. We want a clean sheet. I'd love to be defensively sound. I'd love that. That would be fantastic. But so there, you're not always going to please everybody, basically.
Let's take another call. Let's quickly speak to, I think it's Ron. Hello, Ron. Is it Ben? Ken?
the man's name's
Hello,
Ken.
Guys.
Ken, how are you, Ken?
I'm good. It was just listening to you. The guy who's just phoned you, I totally agree with him. You know, I've got a lot of respect for David Moyes. He saved the club twice, and he's done a lot of good things. But it is this thing of him not playing the sort of football. You three guys all said what the West Ham fans want, and said, you know, we should all be really, really pleased. And then you went, oh, well, what about, would he go to Brentford? Well, no, they don't want that type of football. Would he go to Newcastle? It's too big a club. But a lot of West Ham fans want us to play the type of football. And it is, like the other fella said, ninth is okay. You know, Europe's lovely. But I'd still rather see us get beat 5-4 than lose 2-0 and have no chance like the Forest game. The only other thing I'd like to ask you about is, I think Danny Ings had his best game for West Ham the other week against Sheffield United, and we ain't seen him since.
Ken, let me ask you a quick question. Is David Moyes one of the greatest managers in your history?
He's up there. He's up there with what he's done,
Who's
with
better?
what he's had. Yes.
Who's better?
Who's better than him?
Yeah.
I think John Lyle.
So you're going back
was a
over
better
40
manager,
years, yeah?
Football-wise. Yeah, I mean, I'm 66 now, and I've been supporting them since I was a kid. So, you know, I remember Graham Paddon, I mean, and all of them sort of players, and Brooking, and playing that sort of football where, yeah, we did. Yeah, we'd lose 5-4. I mean, the 5-4 game against Bradford was probably one of the best games I've ever seen, with Paolo sitting on the field wanting to walk off because he had the ump because he kept getting kicked. But, you know, it was a brilliant game of football, and it was end-to-end, and we don't have that anymore.
Okay, thanks for your call. Yeah. It's interesting when he said halfway through that I'd rather lose 5-4 than 2-0. I don't know what the right answer to that is. I mean, both games you're losing, but one there's 9 goals.
Again, I think there's half your fan base would go, yeah, I want to see goals, and there'll be the other half saying, no, I like it, I want to see us tight and defensive. It'll be interesting to see from West Ham fans who they would want to see as their manager, who they would want to Potter, somebody like that maybe. But it hasn't worked for Potter recently, has it? But
he did go to Chelsea when they were always a basket case.
I do honestly think sometimes it's better the devil, you know. I really do. It's such a delicate. They just want fans nowadays. They want results and they want nice style of football, and it's not always as simple as that.
talkSPORT Drive, super opinionated sporting debate, Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.